Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome you all to the program Sakeena ValHaqqu. In this program, we will talk about the tranquility and devotion of oneself to the truth. To elaborate more on this, I have with me Mr. Yusuf Estes. Welcome, sir. First
Thank you so
of all, let me introduce my viewers about you. Yusuf Estes is an American who converted to Islam in the year 1991. Estes has served as a guest presenter and a keynote speaker at various Islamic events. Estes was named as the Islamic Personality of the Year at the Dubai International Holy Quran Award ceremony on 8 August 2012. Estes is also the founder and the president of Guides US TV, a free-to-air internet and satellite TV channel which broadcasts programs about Islam. He is here in the Maldives on the invitation of the Maldivian government to share his knowledge and also to share the lesson learned through his journey. Welcome, sir.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much.
How is Maldives so far for you?
Well, first of all, I want to mention something. You were talking about sharing knowledge. For me, knowledge is something that you gain more of as you're sharing with other people. So I'm the one who benefits. When I was a teacher for Islam, I used to get more than the students do. You know, because the teacher, they're the one who's going to learn the most because they have to study the lesson harder than the student does. So I hope I learn something every time that we talk. So I'm going to learn today from you.
I feel really glad to meet you here in the Maldives. My very first question would be, previously you were a Christian and also a preacher. And also, I just want to know, how did you learn about the Islam?
Well, first of all, a lot of people think I was a preacher, but more than anything in the churches, I was more of a music minister because I spent my time with pianos, organs, music, and the sales of musical instruments. So as far as the preaching, I only filled in when the preacher wasn't going to be there. So then I would give the sermons. But as far as studying the religion and studying the Bible, I realized early on that there's a big difference between the Bible and the various kinds of Christianity that there are. Christianity is divided up into many, many different kinds of groups. Some are very, very close to each other, and some are very, very far apart from each other. So this, all of it together, when you look at the Bible, you can say, well, the Bible doesn't say this, it doesn't say that, it says so and so. I think of a lot of Christians who, if they look at their Bible, they'll realize that there are things that are being said in their church that don't necessarily fit exactly with their Bible. As far as me getting into Islam, that was the opposite of what I wanted to do. I had met a Muslim who I liked him very much, and I thought, if this man was so nice in his personality and the things that he did, that if we could get this guy to be a Christian, I think we could make him a saint immediately. So that was my first exposure to Islam. True Islam is by seeing a person who, yeah, he was a graduate of Al-Azhar himself, but it wasn't his knowledge as much as his personality made a big difference on me, and that helped me get to Islam.
What made you inspire? What made your mind to convert to Islam?
A strange thing happened with he and I. We were talking one night in very serious conversation. After 3 months of being with him, dialoguing back and forth, and especially trying to debate him, and it looked like every time I bring a subject up, he could win the debate. And I was thinking, okay, how can I get ahead of this guy? Finally, at one time, I realized that what he was saying was true, but how am I going to, I'm an old guy, then I was already 50 years old, almost. So I was thinking, I can't admit that I'm wrong. That doesn't work. But I started talking to him, seriously. And I was talking about, what about the relationship I have with my wife and my father and my relatives, and also the people at work and other people in the church, and what's going to happen if I go over to Islam and I get involved in the Muslim religion. After he was listening to me, I don't know how long I talked, a long time. He said, it's not about you and me. It's not about you and your wife. It's not about you and your congregation. It's not about you and your business people. It's not about you and your family. It's about you and him. Go talk to him. I was shocked. Huh? Well, you just mean like talk to God? I think I'll do that. So I went out behind my father's house, and I found a place there where I could put my head down on the ground, because I like this about the Muslim religion. Immediately I like the fact that it's so humble. A person with his head on the ground is not very aggressive. A baby can walk up and kick you. You can't do anything because your head is on the ground. And I like that. So with my head on the ground, I was thinking, what would I say? What would I say? And only this come in my mind. Just this come in my mind. Guide me. God, guide me. That was it. And when I raised up my head, I realized that's exactly what I need. I need to be guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, as a Muslim, you grew up hearing this. And most of your viewers that are watching this, they grew up hearing this. They know Idina, 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 Idina Siratul Mustaqim. You know that. It's normal for you. But it wasn't normal for me. That was the first time I ever said that. God guide me. I do believe, and I've seen it so many times in the last 30 years of the people I've talked to, I believe that if a person sincerely in their heart will say, God guide me, that if they want that guidance, that they will be guided by Allah. And I've encouraged people just to do that. Let's don't talk about hijab. Let's don't talk about salah. Let's don't get into all of that. I just want you to do one thing. If you believe there's a God, and you know He created everything, He created you, He created everything that we're looking at, mashallah, okay, so just say, God guide me. And if they do that, I watch them again and again and again come to Islam. And that's how I got to Islam.
As we are talking about tranquility and devotion of oneself, can you please give a brief overview on this matter of Islam?
When a person is talking about devotion, a lot of the English words, whenever you're using an English word, you have an idea what it means, what you're saying, and what you mean by what you're saying. But the fact is, just like I mentioned about the Bible, the English speakers, oftentimes, they give a value to a word that's not there. Or they exaggerate or diminish the value of that word. So maybe somebody will say, I'm devoted to this. They're not really devoted to it, they just like it. Somebody might say, I like something, but they're very much consumed by it. So this is the way that a lot of the English speakers throw words around, like they throw the Bible around. They say it, that I mean this and I mean that, but you have to be careful. So when we say devoted, according to what was the dictionary value of that word devoted, this is somebody who is devoted as in a religion. And that is usually how it's used. To say devoted to God, devoted to your work, and devoted to your family. Means that you will put that ahead of everything else. I want to mention this because in our program today, we're talking about Sakeena, which is an Arabic word, Haqq, which is an Arabic word, but those are specific. You can't play with that. That's in the Arabic, and if you said Haqq means I more or less tell the truth, no, it doesn't work that, because Haqq is absolute. It's an absolute in the Arabic language. You're clear about what you mean. So when we talk about this in devotion to something, for us as Muslim, we are devoted to Allah. That's our number one thing. Nothing is before that. So our devotion, not our main devotion, our only devotion to Allah. And if we understand these words, then in context, it's much easier to explain to somebody else. Because oftentimes, you as a mother, you have children. Before we came on the show, I asked you about your children. And you may be devoted to your children in a way, but you would never put your children ahead of Allah. So who are you most devoted to? Allah. And then the Rasul Sallallahu, the Quran, and following Islam. All these things in an order, a priority, right? And you'd be very devoted to your husband, but you're also devoted to your children. But each one of these is a different level. Yeah. So if you understand this and keep the balance, then everything makes sense.
When we say tranquility of heart, what does that mean in Islam?
Okay, tranquility, I think we're talking now about the word Sakeena, yeah? So Sakeena, we don't use this word to mean peace. We say salam, right? We say salam alaikum. We don't say Sakeena alaikum. It doesn't make sense, does it? But for this, what we're saying is that there is this, I'll give you an expression and let you think about it. When you go, I don't have to tell you any word for that. You saw it, you understand it. People feel that. When you just go, you say, this guy has got that. Whatever my language is, I know what he meant by what he did, yeah? So this feeling of just let it all go, let it relax, just you're in total tranquility.
What do you think the virtue of thinking of by yourself, by someone, by self?
When a person is thinking about themselves, now in Arabic that'd be nafs, nafs, me, myself, the ego, the way you worry about your own condition more than anything else. This is nafs, nafs, nafs. And we should be concerned about taking care of ourselves, obviously. But at the same time, this is what Islam is teaching us, not to put ourselves ahead of everybody else. One of the things that we learn even from Judaism and from Christianity and from Islam, if you read the books are teaching a person to put the self after. The first and foremost is to believe in God, serving God, Almighty Allah, right? But immediately after that, to take care of, prefer the needs of your brother over your own needs. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is the Christian expression. But for us, we have that after Allah and His Messenger, take care of the people. Take care of your mom. Take care of your dad. Take care of your family. Take care of your neighbors. All of these things are a duty. It's not like a hobby or a choice for us. It's a duty. It's a responsibility. I have to do that. So the nafs, for me, I feel secure enough of myself that I can go out and take care of other people, and I don't need to worry about me because Allah, He's going to take care of me. Does it make sense? Now, suppose that a person is worried about different things in life, the experiences that they're having, and they're worried about this and that and the other. And all of us have a heart, and all of us have a brain. So a lot of times the brain is worried, and the heart becomes excited. And what am I going to do? And I have unrest. I'm having a bad experience in my day, and I'm worried about this and that. In the Quran, in chapter 13, Surah Al-Ra'd, in verse 28, it tells us the translation of the meaning, that in the remembrance of Allah, the qulub, the hearts, find this peace, this rest, this Sakeena is coming to us from the remembrance of Allah. We say, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Subhanallah, Walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. These kinds of remembrance. We're saying this like remembrance of Allah and the things that we're doing every day. Astaghfirullah is a good one too. One time the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said the best dua is astaghfirullah. The best prayer that you can offer is saying, oh Allah, forgive me. Because if this is sincere, He'll put that rest in your heart, that peace and that we need. Make sense?
Yeah, of course. Can you explain or define us the difference between the knowledge and truthfulness?
Now that's a very good question. I like the way you put that, because this again in the English language, somebody could say truthful and knowledge and not have the same meaning you do. Because if you said, are you truthful? Say, yeah, pretty much. What do you mean, pretty much? This guy telling the truth? Oh yeah, more or less. What do you mean more or less? Because the word haqq in Arabic isn't open to that kind of an interpretation. This man is on the haqq, it means he's on the absolute truth. And if he says something, no, I'm going to believe this guy because he's on the haqq. But when we use an English term, especially when people are given different meanings to it, this is where you can get into a lot of problem. And when we talk about knowledge in Arabic language, ilm, and the ilm and the haqq, when you put these two together, one is here, and the other one is somewhere between here and here, usually around the mouth, okay? So what comes out of here, hopefully, it'll be the thing that is being inspired by this, but will supply this. Does that make sense or no?
Does it make sense?
Yeah, okay. But if this is wrong, now watch this one. I'm taking this from a translation of a hadith. If this thing, this tongue, the lisan, is not on the haqq, it won't be long before this hits the floor, meaning that you'll fall on your face. Allah will bring you to disgrace because you're not on the truth. Does it make sense?
When we face certain uncertainty or distress in life, what is the road to tranquility?
Whenever you have any distress in your life and you're pondering a question, something's coming at you, you don't know which way to turn, okay? And do I need to, no, but no, now from my motion and my expression, you can tell this person is upset, he doesn't know which way to go. So if you look at Surah Fatiha, what does it say? Ihdina siratal mustaqim. I'm saying to Allah, guide me to the straight path. So there's something in Islam that we use. The companions of Muhammad ﷺ, they used to use this same thing. It's called Salat Istikhara. Salat Istikhara means you're going to have Allah is going to make the decision for you and show you the right way. So when I have this kind of distress and I don't know which way to turn, I don't know which way to go, so I can stop immediately and do this salah. At the end of the salah, 2 rak'ah, then I'm asking Allah, in a more or less translation to English, I'm saying, Allah, if this thing is good for me, and it's good for my dunya here, and it's good for my akhirah, and it's good for me, my family, and so, then guide me to it, and guide it to me, make it easy for me. But if in your knowledge, see, I'm asking Allah for His knowledge, if in your knowledge you know that this thing is not good for me, not good for my dunya, not good for my family, not good for my future, and especially on Yawm al-Qiyamah, then guide it away from me and guide me away from it and make me happy with it. So then, when I finish the salah, I feel, which way should I go? This way? That one. I'll go this way. Whatever I choose, that will be from Allah. Because I did that salat. This is, some people have taken a little time to get used to doing that because they don't trust it. But if you trust Allah, you know He's going to show you the right way. So asking Allah whether you can take a shortcut, you can just say, Allah, help me. If I got to make a decision real quick, I can't stop and do salah, but I can just say, Allah, help me. Help me. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Show me. And He will.
Can you please clarify how tranquility has been characteristics of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
I'm not an expert on the seerah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I've read it and I've tried to understand it. Most of what I've read has been English translations. But what I have an image of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he had something that we can only dream of in a way. Because when he went to Taif, he went there, this is a place outside of Mecca, and when he went there, he was looking for that tribe of Taif to support him, and he was hoping they would accept Islam, and then they would be some people to support this message and go back into Mecca and so on. But when he got there, they treated him really bad. And this is very strange for the Arab custom and the culture of the time, to have anybody come to you that you turn them away. But they did it. And he's from the big tribe there in Mecca, and it's strange that they would turn him away. But they had been warned, oh, this man is coming and he's a prophet and he thinks he's and so and so and so. So they actually had people throwing stones at him, throwing rocks at him and his companion. So much so that they were running out of town and they were bleeding. So much blood filling up their sandals with the blood. So whenever they got far away into an orchard where they were, then the angel came to them. And the angel told Muhammad ﷺ that Allah is going to bring the mountain down. This is a mountain area there. You're going to bring the mountain down on those people for what they did to him. Just say the word, and Allah will destroy them with much bigger rocks than they threw at you. The Prophet ﷺ did something very strange. Even when I tell non-Muslims about this story, they go, really? Instead of revenge or retribution, instead he prayed for them. Who would do this? He prayed for them and he asked Allah to guide these people and make somebody from them who is worshippers of Allah. Now standing there bleeding, hurting, maybe even feeling like he wants to cry, but still look what he did. And he asked Allah to bring this wonderful guidance to these people. And by the way, I was told that one came from there, from a Taif, who actually opened up India for Islam.
What does self-confidence means to a Muslim, and is that contrary to his need for this Lord?
When we talk about self-confidence, this is also something, a terminology that people can have a different idea. What you said, maybe not what I think. It may not be what she thinks or he thinks. It could be something totally different. So let's define what we mean about self. We said nafs, and this is the ego, the self that's looking at itself, trying to take care of itself. And then confidence. What do we mean by confidence? And in this case, most people, maybe, will think that self-confidence means I rely on me, I don't need anybody else. And this is not the Islamic way, because we rely 100% on Allah. At the same time, though, we have something called, in English, self-confidence, because we are confident that if I'm doing the right things with Allah, that He'll guide me, that what I do will be okay and it'll all work out. Does that make sense?
Of course.
So we want to use the word self-confidence in a very positive way, but meaning that I'm not just relying on my nafs, I'm relying on the guidance from Allah to show me what to do with my nafs.
What will be your message you would like to convey to the Maldivian brothers and sisters, and also all about the Maldivians who are finding peace and solace in the right way, as you mentioned before?
One of the things that people like to ask old guys like me is for advice. Usually I tell the young people to take care of your parents, because this is one of the best advice that there is out there. Take care of your parents, take care of your parents, because when you get older, you get married, you have children, you want them to take care of you, so this is a good thing. But in this case, when we're talking about this particular subject, and from what I've known just briefly about the people here in Maldives, I would say that I would encourage the Muslims here to look deeper into themselves and into the faith of Islam, to find out what are we missing, if we're missing something, and how can I amplify or grow these good qualities more. And then not so much with the mouth, but with the rest of the body. Well, look how small the tongue is. That's small. Look at the rest of the body. The rest of the body should be showing what's Islam. Because if I'm taking care of the people that come here, tourism is a big thing here. You got people coming from all over the world. So if they see the actions, they don't have to hear me speak. Maybe they don't speak English, maybe they don't know Arabic, maybe they don't know your language, but they see the way you treat each other, they see the way you treat them. They see a smile, they feel better. They see you taking care of them, and especially how they treat you, but you treat them better. Like the Prophet ﷺ did with the people of Taif. When they see that, they'll say, you know what, I met some people on my vacation. I went to a place called Maldives, and while I was there, these people were so nice, so kind, and they helped me with everything. And I was not that good to them, but they were still kind to me. I want to go back there again and see more about their religion. What is their faith? I should have asked them. You see what could happen? And this would be my advice, because I know, alhamdulillah, you guys are Muslim. I know you have a lot of great things already. And probably I need to come here and learn from you guys.
Thank you, sir, for joining us and sharing your knowledge. It was so inspirational, and it's really good to be with you in this
I
program.
enjoyed it very much.
Inshallah, we'll see you
Now,
soon.
you know, we
in the
have
near
a
future.
television channel in America. We call it Guide Us TV. And a lot of times they say Guide US. No, I'm saying Guide Us. Guide us, okay? Idina, guide us. And so whenever I sign off on our programs, I always say, get guided with Guide Us TV.
Thank you so much. Wish you a safe stay here in the Maldives.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the sunny side of life.
Assalamualaikum.
Inshallah, hope to see you soon.
Inshallah.
With that, we conclude the program Sakeena ValHaqqu. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant day ahead. Bye bye.